right, stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, October 17th. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, come up to this microphone up on this podium and give us your name and address and tell us what's on your mind. In the interest of courtesy to everyone, please limit your comments from the podium, not just at your whim. All right, call the roll, please.
Cedar,
Here.
Kinsbatter,
Here.
Lehman,
Here.
Kufa,
Here.
Laporte,
Here.
Hall,
Present.
Foltz,
Here.
all present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Let's go to consent agenda A, City Council minutes of October 3rd, 2022, regular meeting, recommendation approved. B is the City Council minutes of October 4th and 13th, 2022, special meeting, recommendation approved. And C, Planning Commission minutes of September 14th, 2022, meeting, recommendation received.
Motion to approve A through C as presented.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to number 5, we have a public hearing scheduled tonight for a PUD on North Kearney. Greg, do you have somebody who wants to kind of walk up and take us through this?
Good evening. Phil Porty, BMJ Engineers and Surveyors, 519 Huron Avenue, Port Huron, Michigan. Thank you for your time tonight. We are here to request that a parcel of land kind of sandwiched between the Camberwell Apartments and North Delano on the east side of Kearney Drive be considered for a planned urban development. Currently is zoned single-family residential. We believe that, just generally speaking, that with the properties around it being single-family over on the west side, single-family on the north side, single-family on the south, and multiple on the east, kind of makes a nice transition use between single-family on Delano and the Camberwell Apartments. The parcel is 11.272 acres. Of that, 1.5 is going to be dedicated for public right-of-way. The area that will be improved will only be the westerly 6.35 acres. There's a wooded area with some wetlands in it on the east side, and that will remain untouched, and we think serve as a pretty nice buffer between the residents to the east there. The plan is to have 46 duplexes, so there'll be 23 with two in each, for a total of 46 units. The square footage on the units will be right around 18 to 1,900 square foot. That includes the garage as well. They're all slated to be 2-story, and of course, it will have the full public utilities, water, sewer, storm sewer, detention basin, which will outlet into the Jordan Creek. So that's kind of the bird's eye view of what we're proposing. I'd certainly be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Anything from council? Go ahead.
So you have two different designs of buildings?
That's
is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
two different.
And they're both equal in size approximately? 3,800 square feet for the total building, including the garages, approximately?
That's correct, yeah.
No, is the road, is that going to be a city road or is that a private road?
The request is for a city road.
Do we need another road?
Well, we might want to discuss that.
Say again?
We might want to discuss that. We can't pave the roads we got right now. Could take a couple more in. We discussed it a little bit, but not at much.
The condominiums on Vine Street, that's a private road, isn't that
Private road.
correct?
That's correct.
Pinery uses, the same thing, private road.
Are you guys open to keeping that road? What about street lighting?
There will be street lighting at the intersection with Kearney, basically at a midpoint of the proposed road and then at the east end as well. So not ornamental or anything, just standard overhead street lighting.
Will there be lighting on the buildings? Anything more than porch light, I mean, nothing.
Nothing more than standard residential lighting, I'm sure.
So you said the lot is 11.72 acres, 6.3 are going to be improved. That's the west edge of it. Is anything going to be done to the east edge of it beyond the wetlands there? Then I'm assuming the wetlands is not 4 acres, 5 acres, is that?
Yeah, somewhere in that.
Is
ballpark.
that? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the westerly part is remaining untouched, and we're calling it recreational, but
Okay.
that's 5.37 acres. There's no, we would have to go through the wetlands and disturb them, and then that brings up all the questions with the state of Michigan
Yeah.
and wetland permitting, and it's just generally,
So that east end of the property will be untouched, basically?
That's correct.
No leaving of fill or anything like that? It's all completely just natural?
that's correct.
Okay.
Now, we received a memo from our engineer firm. They have 14 points on here. Have these all been addressed?
I don't have that list in front of me, but I believe so, yes.
Okay. And I think they should be.
That's June, which Kinsfider is referring to as, this is the 14 points, and 13 was landscape and architectural plans were not provided. Has that been taken care of?
Yes, sir, it has.
They have them right here,
Yeah,
Bill,
back
if you want to
here,
take a look at them, yep.
Same thing with the tree survey calculations?
Yes, that offset has all been provided as part of the agricultural.
Mike, you sit on planning, so you guys have been through this?
Yes.
Everything's good?
Right?
No?
Not all.
I see a shaking head back there the wrong way.
Site plan review's gotta be done by planning.
Okay.
This is just the rezone.
We're doing the rezoning, that goes back to planning to meet
That's all
all
we're
the
doing tonight is
criteria.
rezoning from
Okay.
R1 to P.
So they've been provided, but you haven't approved the site plan, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
It sort of coincides, doesn't it?
Anything else from council?
No.
All right, I'll open it to the public. Any public comments or questions? Thank you.
Yeah, question.
Lisa?
Lisa Bondi, 1660 North Delano. I'm just adjacent to this UD zoning change. And I'm sorry, I probably should have brought this up at the planning committee, but I wasn't really aware of how to do this, so. When you guys are making changes to zoning, are you considering the changes that are going to affect the water treatment and the water supply? I'm just starting to get a little bit worried that we have a lot of additional development going on in the city. And I feel like I'm a little bit worried that our water treatment plan, wastewater treatment plant might not be able to take care of it. And every time I walk up in Port Huron and I have that smell by the wastewater treatment plant, it makes me very nervous. So I wanted to know if that gets calculated, and when they calculate it, do they take into the account the subdivision across the street at Kearney being 100% filled, occupied, and all the other developments? We've got the Jordan Creek Apartments, and Gearing's going to have the assisted living. If all that gets calculated into this PUD change or not? That was my question.
Please. Annette is going to answer this because she's schooled on this thoroughly with all the, because we do look at that extensively, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
The answer is yes. Whenever there's developments, administration has been working very closely with the building department We have statistics and modeling for how many units, what the usage will be. We're using those calculations with our current water plant improvements that we already have moving forward with.
Okay.
So yes, it's all being considered. We want to make sure that we have the capacity level that will allow for this development.
Okay, and the Magna plant that's doubling in size is in there too?
Correct.
I forgot about that one. All right, that was what I wanted to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Mayor Cedar and Council. I probably shouldn't do this, but I sat in at a planning meeting some time ago, and they were talking with the gentleman that was here to discuss the new apartment complex going in on Range and Brown Street. And the gentleman was up here with his charts and all this fancy information, and he was passing it on, and they were tiptoeing around the whole thing, and nothing ever got said about the infrastructure that's required to go along with this. Finally, I couldn't take anymore, and I stood up, I asked if I could speak, and they gave me permission. So I said, well, if you're planning on putting in these complexes, you put one in on Clinton, you're putting one in on the west side of Kearney, you're putting one in on the east side of Kearney, and now you're putting one on Range and Brown, and all that's wonderful. I like expansion, but I sat in on a meeting with the Planning Commission, and they told us at that time, and DJ substantiated, they don't have the sewage plant that doesn't have the capacity. They're maxed out right now. Do you have plans on what you're going to do when all these places come online so they can at least flush the toilet and have water? I know you discussed the water a bit, and there was millions of dollars involved to put the plant in, but I don't recall anything being discussed about the sewer plant. Can you handle all this stuff, or are you able to share anything with us that I don't know?
Please.
The sewer plant is not at capacity, and yes, we're looking into that modeling as well, working closely with Fishbeck. So we're moving forward with improvements to the plant at this time too, similar to what we did with the water plant. So yes, that's being taken into consideration before anything moves forward with planning or zoning or council approval.
Well, as long as it's all being worked together, that's great. But when they tiptoed around the whole agenda and didn't mention anything about it, I finally couldn't take anymore, and I had to say something, because it's not right that they go through their planning and we can't support it. So that's all I want to bring up. Thank you.
Phil. Anybody else? Anybody else in council, anything?
Your Honor, when the motion was made, I believe too, we approved it contingent that the council assures us that there was capacity in water and sewer, and that's when we entered the Fishbeck contract. So it was mentioned.
All right. Greg, you okay? You wanted to say something? All right.
So they were developing 7.5 acres, is that what it was? What was it?
6.35.
6.35, so they could actually build 63 homes there?
Except it's
I think it
wetlands,
says
so they can't.
You can do 10 per acre. So they could build 63 homes. They're going to build 46
units, 23
Yeah,
homes.
23 buildings.
Buildings.
Yeah. Okay, just so everybody understands that.
All right. Other than that, I'm going to close the public hearing at this time. Thank you, everyone. We'll go to number 6. We have no ordinances and resolutions. We'll go to number 7, reports of administration. Mr. Sturdy.
Just a few things this evening. Another road update. Fredmore Highway and South 10th Street are active road projects at this time. They continue to move forward. Thank you for a productive discussion at the 6 o'clock meeting regarding roads. So I'll look forward to hearing your opinions on that for 2023 projects. We continue to move forward with the water plant improvement project using the grant and loan award per the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. Communication on the fiscal year audit has begun already. And last but not least, the election is 3 weeks away, so we're quite busy in the clerk's department. Polls will be open on November 8th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. My report for this evening.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sturdy?
Fredmore Highway is the finish date still close to the end of October?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I was asked, when's the leaf pickup gonna begin?
It has begun. I'll be posting that on social media shortly.
Anybody else? Okay, our city attorney is not here today. I can answer any legal questions. I don't know if it'll be right, but I can answer. No? Okay. Let's go to city departments. Anybody? All right. Any boards or commissions, committees, chairs, council reps?
I've got two updates on behalf of the rec department. One, they're doing a community survey, City of St. Clair Parks and Rec Master Plan update. I believe that is posted on the city website, I bet.
Yes.
Yes. You can also contact the Recreation Department, but they're looking for input on how to update the master plan for parks within the city. They also have implemented their kiosk for Bridge to Bay Trail, Palmer Park. That went up very quickly. It actually looks very nice. They've also contacted Blue Water Transit and asked about the shelter that's on the west side. They said it's no longer necessary or needed. We may take it down at will. There doesn't need to be replaced. I make the suggestion that so it looks better and cleaner.
Initially, I thought that too, and then I thought if anybody was waiting for the bus and wanted to get out of the rain, sitting under there, there were just 10 steps from the crosswalk to the other side.
Long term, there's some discussion about adding another kiosk across the street to the actual smaller, nicer trails of park.
I think that we can certainly discuss that issue. Yeah. Anybody else? Number 8, no unfinished business. Number 9, new business. A, approve zoning change R1 Plain Unit Development North Kearney. This is the topic from our public hearing.
And make a motion to approve.
I'll support.
All right, the motion is made and supported to approve. Any questions? Call the roll, please. Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Does the stipulation with the road have anything to do with this, or no?
No.
No, okay.
Any other questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. B, approve agreement for distribution of millage funds.
Yes. Voters approved a countywide millage in August of 2022 to provide funding for ambulance services. The agreement before you is from the county, and it states the county will collect the funds and then give them back to the city for disbursement on any incurred expenses. Because this is longer than a one-year agreement, I needed to bring it in front of council for approval. So today, I'm just looking for recommendation to approve the agreement as written.
Motion to approve.
Support. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Kinsvater.
Yes.
Kleeman,
Yes.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to C, discuss culvert on North Kearney.
Bob Beef from our Department of Public Works is here to discuss this topic.
All right.
There's a couple estimates in your council packet that you can refer to during the conversation.
Good evening. What we're asking for is to fill the ditch in along Kearney Drive at the new subdivision. There wasn't a ditch there before, and we don't want a ditch there now. It'll be a maintenance issue, and there's no sense in it. It was an oversight in the planning. It should have never been there. So I talked to the developer, and he is going to give us a cost, at cost, to fill the ditch in, put a culvert in, do everything, the engineers want him to do, and he's going to do it at cost. So I had, just to make sure his at cost was in line, I had AEW figure out a material list of what it'll take, and he is doing it for a cost. The AEW's cost, I think, was $33,000 just for materials, and Paul came in, or Cordis Brothers came in at $36,000, I think. So that was, and they weren't including, they were just including the material, you know, so Paul had a little bit more in there for diesel fuel and things like that. But it's our recommendation to fill that ditch in. It'll make the property much nicer. It'll make Kearney Drive much nicer.
So if we don't fill it in, you just have a ditch.
Have a ditch, and the big thing is it's going to be a maintenance issue. You know, we've got this ditch right out here just north of City, or south of City Hall. We line trim it a couple of times a year, and it never looks good. In that one there, I'd have 2 guys probably on it for a week just to knock it down. So, you know, I'm only going to have time to do that a couple of times a year. So it's not going to look good. You
Was
know,
the ditch created by the developer?
it was in the engineering plan, and
Whose engineering plan?
their original engineering plan, and when our guys reviewed it, they put on there, they did highlight it in red, and they put on there that we recommend that you eliminate that ditch. And what they probably should have said was require you to eliminate that ditch. So it kind of left it up to them. They opted to leave it as it was originally planned.
Do they want to leave it as originally planned, or they want it filled in too?
Well, he sees that it'd be in his best interest to fill it in. That's why he's doing it at cost. He'll make his properties more desirable.
The developer is asking for the change.
No, I'm asking
You're
for it.
asking for the change.
Yeah.
And this is only going to be in front of the new properties,
It'll be that whole length there of that new subdivision.
but just of the new sub. We'll still have a ditch to the south because there's a ditch there, I believe. Is that correct?
No, it should tie right into that one. There should be no ditch.
There's no opens at all.
Right.
How many ditches do we maintain, Bob?
It's mostly right here on Kearney Drive.
When you say you maintain a ditch, tell me what that means.
Well, it just means that you got to get down in there and knock the weeds down, or it'll be all overgrown and you know, look bad, look unkept. And we try to keep up on everything. We have issue with the one out on Range Road, trying to keep that looking decent. You know, and that's been an issue with council, trying to keep that ditch looking presentable, because it's everybody coming into town sees it.
It's basically keeping the grass cut.
Yeah,
So if you fill this in, is there going to be grass on top of it?
yeah, yeah. And then
You're supposed to have to maintain
it'll be the homeowner will have to mow it when they do their yard.
Is there any maintenance for the enclosure?
No, well, if there was, there's risers that we can get into to clean it if there ever was an issue.
Okay.
But not a you know, steady maintenance of it
Yeah.
or nothing.
So this will tie into an enclosure, just so I understand, at Vine, somewhere near there?
Just before the first house on the corner, that's all what they call swaled.
Whaled, yeah.
And it'll start there and then tie in at the south end.
Okay.
So they would be using a 12-inch storm and an 18-inch storm?
Yeah. And that was, that stuff was all determined by AEW. I had them do a drawing on it.
Is this time sensitive?
Yeah.
My question.
Like, it's got to be
Yeah,
done this week?
Well, not this week,
It can
but
wait 2 weeks?
he is he wants to get going on his site work, and he'll use his material from digging the rest of the retention pond to fill the ditch in. So that's,
I'd like more time.
that's the time-sensitive part. Just because he wants to get going on his,
How much dirt, do you need more dirt?
no, he feels he's got plenty right there. Yeah.
You got too much.
Magna's got all kinds of
You're
dirt.
in luck.
Right. Yeah, well, he's got dirt on site, so there's no use bringing in more dirt. He might as well burn up the stuff he's got.
Is he stuck on this 36? That seems like a pretty heavy lift.
Yeah, because that's what's gonna cost him. And by checking with, having AEW do a material list, I know he's right on with that 36.
Would he object to splitting the cost?
I tried that. He said it's not his problem. Basically, it's not his problem. It's up to us to maintain it, keep it clean.
But it's to his advantage to have it done, too.
Well, yeah, but it's
I
not
don't know.
necessary.
And he created it.
I don't know, I'd like to have a little more time to research this.
I'd make a motion to table it.
Was there support?
Tabling it to next meeting.
All right,
Look into it further.
the motion's been made and supported to table this until the next meeting. Was made by you, Mitch, and then supported by Chris.
Sure.
All right, any questions? I'll call the roll for this motion.
I just got one. If it did get done in that, what fund would pay for it?
Good question.
General fund.
My first thought would be major streets, but I'll have to look to see where maintenance occurs now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sure to have that answer for you when you discuss it next time.
All right, the motion is made and supported to table. Let's call the roll.
Kleeman,
Yes.
Lufa,
Yes.
Port,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
Yeah.
Cedar,
Yep.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Now, Paul, to sharpen his pencil. All right, we'll move to Piper's Act family. If you're just sitting there wishing you get out of here, go ahead and leave. I understand. This isn't exciting, I get it. All right. All right, we'll go to D, approve appointment of city superintendent. You want to introduce this idea?
No.
All right, so we held a couple of interviews a couple of weeks ago, and then we had a special meeting last week to see if we wanted to move in any direction, and council voted to direct administration, which was myself and Mr. Laporte, to put together some sort of contract offer to our proposed candidate. You have that before you. The proposed candidate is Quentin Bishop. He was one of the two that we interviewed a couple of weeks ago. If you go through the agreement, is it just bit by bit?
No, I don't think that's necessary. I think there's any conversation, you can address it, but it includes all of the previous discussion.
All right, so I won't beleaguer with going through point by point, but certainly we should go through, and if there's questions or concerns or whatever.
I have a
before we-
question, I guess, on section 10, professional growth. Do we have any kind of a ceiling on the amount we're going to spend on professional growth annually? Budget and pay for registration, travel accommodations for local, state, national conferences. I'm not against the idea of professional growth, but I'm just wondering if there's a,
Cap.
yeah.
I would say yes, because the budget would have that as a line item. Usually each department has education and membership.
So the budget
dues.
would set the cap. Okay.
So you looking for two motions or one?
Well, I guess we're going to do it in two parts. If I'm looking at D and E correctly, we're going to approve the appointment and then approve the contract.
Make a motion to approve the appointment.
I'll support.
All right, the motion is made and supported to approve the appointment of Quentin Bishop as our city superintendent. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
Yep.
Kleeman,
No.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go to the contract, letter E. Before you have the contract, questions?
Has Mr. Bishop agreed to this?
Not yet.
Oh,
No, he
Until he
hasn't.
signs, nobody's, I mean, it has to be signed.
I'll make a motion to approve the presented contract.
I'll support.
All right, motions made, supported, questions. I do want to draw attention to section, Roman numeral 17. That's 17, XVI. This is the one that we do not require that the person becomes a city resident, sorry. Okay, just to make sure everybody understands that that's there and what's highlighted, but. Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater.
Yes.
Kleeman,
No.
Kufa,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. So we will contact Mr. Bishop and try to get him in here and get this thing signed, sealed, and delivered.
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right, we'll go to number 10, claims and accounts, October 6th and 13th, 2022.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, make a motion to approve as presented.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's go to number 11, public questions and comments. Anybody have any non-agenda items to talk about? All right, then we'll go to number 12. Mayor and council, anybody have anything up here for the good of the cause? All right, we're gonna, Mr. Downey's not here, and he was gonna be the closed session topic, so I guess we're gonna ask to just remove that or table it.
Table it.
I'll make a motion to table it.
All right, call the roll, please.
Hall,
I'm sorry, any questions? We're gonna table this. All right, go ahead, sorry about that.
No
Paul?
questions? Yes.
you're just doing it to do it now.
That's it, nobody else votes? You in the, oh, we're calling
Paul
the
was a
roll.
yes. He was a yes. Paul was a yes. You have to keep
We
going.
gotta continue.
Okay, no, yeah, I didn't even start. I was just waiting for questions to be done.
No, yeah.
Yes, okay,
We're done.
okay. Hall,
Yes.
Volts,
Yes.
Kinsvater.
Yes.
Kleeman. Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes,
Motion carries.
all right. Other than that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good night, everybody, be safe, thanks for coming.
At the same time, you react.